Hear the world calling, but son, don't you listen. They're only trying to drag you back into prison, that's right.
Welcome back to What Have You. I'm Rachel Jankovic.
I'm Becca Merkel.
And we're on our last lap of the school year, which is making our podcasting a little wheezy.
Well,
we're barely showing
I
up.
like that it has just been wheezy throughout. And so now I just feel like we come up with new reasons to blame it on.
But this is more wheezy than typical, I think.
I think it's definitely had something of that going.
I don't know. My life at large has been wheezy, so I think that basically.
Well, I'll
seems
tell you
accurate.
where I am is I made it through a whole lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I splatted. I'm kind of like mid-splat right now is how I feel.
Yeah, we're getting ready. Becca and I both have daughters running in the state track meet tomorrow and Saturday, and we're going to try to go watch it. Becca's busy with other stuff here.
Well, we're still trying to figure out if we can go watch it. Our daughter runs tomorrow at 5 o'clock our time-ish, but it's 300 miles away, so you got
it's a commitment. You got to commit, and I like that Belle also runs the 100 in the medley, so it is it's like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
You got to drive.
Yeah.
You got to drive 300 miles to watch something that's going to take about 2 minutes to execute the entire race on the relay.
Exactly, and we would totally do it. It's just that here's a no pressure situation. I've already told Rachel this. I'll let the rest of you in on it.
You all want to know about the kind of thing Becca does on her
Here's what's
side.
interfering with going to the state track meet is our house is one of the historic homes of Moscow, which isn't saying much. It was built in 1890, so particularly all of you English listeners.
Yeah. / even the East Coast of our country.
Yeah, can
previous
wrangle up
settlements.
Something
Yeah.
older than 1890, but
Not here.
But
Not in Idaho. Everything's fresh in Idaho.
well, even I feel like the oldest standing building in Idaho was like only from 1860 or something. Like it wasn't that long before our house. It was Cataldo Mission is the oldest. Which one of these did you drink?
The front one. Okay. Yeah, that one.
To get my Diet Coke right, guys. Anyhow, where am I going? Oh, yeah. So our house is one of the oldest homes in Moscow. And interestingly, although built in 1890, we are only the third owners. So it went through a couple generations of one family.
1830.
Cataldo?
Yeah. No, in 1846 they moved it. So
Okay.
1840. So
All right.
It's a little bit early.
That's pretty old.
Come on. We're getting
on
up
now.
there.
Nothing
Beautiful.
from, yeah,
Unfortunately
it is. It's cool.
Catholic, but beautiful.
But anyway, so we're only the third owners. The first family had it for a couple generations. Then the second family bought it in the 60s, had it for a couple generations, and then we bought it. And the descendants of the builders of the home, who were kind of like merchants in town. They were kind of, there's a department store named for them and stuff. They're having a family reunion.
There was? What department store?
David's.
Oh.
It's the David's,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they were sort of a important family early on, and so their descendants are coming to have a family reunion. And they've asked to come to my house on Saturday, midday. They've hired a professional photographer, you guys. Guys, this is no pressure.
I'm
right?
not feeling it. I'm not feeling the pain, but
Yeah.
I'm spacing off because we've been having house showings and things.
I know, but
yeah.
a professional photographer for the descendants
Yeah.
of the family.
No pressure.
No pressure. And I'm feeding them some foods in the middle of the day, which means that to go to a track meet Friday night when I have this happening in the middle of the next day is a little tough. And it's not, I pray that they're not going to tour the house. They said they were going to take a photo in front of the house, and I am going to feed them, but I'm assuming they're going to come into the main part. But what I'd really love to not do is take a tour of the house.
And who can stop them? If they're all there, like,
I know.
great grandpapa built this home. Can we see it?
And you're like, no.
No. Okay, I have to say, just ask yourself with me. I saw this on Facebook today, and I have to say that I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying this.
What are you doubting on Facebook? I can't imagine doubting anything on Facebook.
It's a quote. Some old-fashioned things like fresh air and sunshine are hard to beat.
Okay.
Laura Ingalls Wilder. Does that sound like something that Laura Ingalls Wilder would have said? Does it?
Maybe.
But what newfangled thing was Laura Ingalls talking about that wasn't fresh air and sunshine? I mean, like, if you're living a life with butter on paper for your windows, it's not like you've really been, on YouTube for days on end.
Maybe it's when a fancy cousin came from the city. I don't know.
Old-fashioned things like fresh air. I don't know why, but it just strikes me as a new take on Miss Dunn Lewis quotes.
Everyone can write in with the reference and
Yeah,
tell you.
do. I Googled it.
Did it come up?
No, just as inspirational Laura Ingalls Wilder quotes. So I don't know.
The kind of thing
I
we
didn't look
imagine
too hard.
that
I
Laura
didn't look
Ingalls
too hard. I just kind
thought.
of was like, that seems odd to me. Like, something about this is
That's very funny.
clunking in my perspective.
I got through my protocol dress. We talked about that last time.
Oh, we did?
Got that done.
Wow.
I said it was coming upon us, and then I did that. That happened.
My sink. My kitchen
Is
sink.
it in? Is it here? I mean?
No, it's stuck on a UPS truck that is, it has to, hopefully tomorrow, it's got to try to see if we can get a FedEx. Well, not FedEx, UPS, but it's a semi. It's a freight, so it's a huge, big semi. So it's gonna.
Are they going to bring it on a huge semi to you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I guess that's what it's on.
Wow.
It's freight, and it weighs like 450 pounds or something.
That's pretty
so
good.
It's they have the like forklift,
Tell
the
everyone
little
about
lift.
I don't think we've discussed your sink. It's quite rad, you guys.
Well, I'm hoping that it's gonna be rad. It's long. It's soapstone, so it is, but it's 5 feet long.
It's a bathtub.
It's essentially a wet countertop. Like it would be a long stretch of the counter that is a sink.
That's a tub. You're like installing a tub into your
Actually,
counter.
it's almost isn't 60 inches is a tub.
Yeah, it's long.
It is.
It's real long. I think there are shorter tubs than that for sure, because you couldn't lie flat down in a tub, and 5 feet, that's pretty big, Rach.
Well, the goal.
She's installing an extra tall tub.
I have a theory, but this is the problem. Nobody plans houses for my life. They just don't. They don't know about my life. Which the last episode we did was our incredibly boring monologue about napkins. and it was at night, so not only were we talking about napkins, we were slow talking about napkins.
But we were slap happy.
2 people sent me word that why aren't you just using pants hangers for your napkins? And I was like, you've asked me a great question now. So I ordered some pants hangers.
This is better than clipboards by a long shot.
Well, I don't know why I wasn't. Well, the closet here that I was trying to make them fit in did not have a hanging element. There's no place to hang it.
But that's quite
But then I was
genius.
like, wait a minute. Yes, that's what I should do in my closet at our new house is just have a rod for all the napkins. So I'm definitely using
Rach, though.
listener suggestions.
Yeah, crowdsource this one for me. Here's where I struggle, and I know that you just introed this with our last boring monologue about napkins, but I've thought of another headache about mine. So we have 7 people in our family, so when we're setting the table, most often it's for 7 people. You don't buy napkins in sets of 7. Most of the time I have them in bigger quantities than that, and some you might have a set of 12, or you might have a set of 24.
This is just right back to the same heartache, that it's never the right number.
But this is where I go wrong with it, is I have long since given up individually folding napkins. So what I always do is I spread it out I stack it, and then I fold the whole stack in half and lay it in the drawer.
Look what is happening.
But do you...
We're just derailing into another napkin podcast.
I know. I said that, but I still have to get my question out. Do I stack them in packets of 7 so you can just pull out a packet?
No, because no matter what you do, it will be wrong.
I know.
That's how it is.
So on your pants hangers, are you going to have packs of 9 or packs of 10?
No, it actually holds like 24 in one. So I'm doing, I have a theory. All
right.
Hanging the large clusters of napkins in a stack, because the ones that I use when I set a table for 40, it's a lot of napkins.
I know.
And when you do that laundry, it's a substantial amount of napkins that just came through. So if you just stack them all together and then clip them and hang them up, it's no big deal. But it's a lot of them all on one hanger. But the napkins, I have been thinking for a while, I wanted to have smaller sets of napkins that I use just when it's just our family.
Yeah.
Which is also annoying because then 12 is the wrong number.
Yeah,
but
I know.
8 is not enough.
I know.
It's all dumb, but we're going to fight the good fight and press on with napkins.
Anyways, guys, sorry about that.
Yeah,
little
but
tangent.
listener suggestions, just faithful listeners who listened through all of that, were like, you guys, I have a word.
Don't turn it off yet, guys. We promise we're going to stop talking.
We're going to halt the napkin progress and move back, do something else more interesting.
Yes.
Which would be what, Becca? What's more interesting?
I'm trying to plant my tomatoes and my basil, and I've only got half of them in the ground, so I'm going to go home after this time, and that's when my fingers are disgusting and covered in, like, under my fingernails are black, and it's not good. I was out poking around in the mud yesterday.
Job.
Oh, we could revisit some highlights of earlier episodes by me saying that I was not wearing gardening gloves. And I grabbed a bunch of wet leaves because I'm trying to pull out some of the old leaves and junk from corners of the garden, get it all cleaned up. And I, instinctively, even though it's a handful of wet leaves, that you've just touched a slug. And I fling it, and it's like a big jumbo nasty one that I picked up between my thumb and my index finger. I did it, and then I flung it. And I also have another... What is the opposite of a praise report?
Complaint
announcement. That's exactly what I have. I woke up this morning with a spider bite on my temple. And that just hurts my feelings. Because
that's gross.
Because it means that there was a spider having a little run around on my face during the nighttime. Anyway... So that's my animal kingdom. You're just on the internet.
I'm actually not. I'm looking.
She's on her texts.
No, I'm looking in my notes for questions because I knew that I have saved a few questions that people asked, and I was trying to remember what they were. And it hasn't been super handy so far. What I came up with is that I saved one that says confronting your husband. And then it must have been my shorthand notes for questions. Confronting your husband. The next line. Body, hair, and feminism.
Are you sure these were questions, or were these like little ideas you had for...
They're not my ideas.
Little ideas you had.
Oh, whoops. I'm just telling you that
those two don't tie in.
I was like, I don't see how that's I can't see us really kicking off a great talk about that right now. So.
Well, either one in isolation, but probably not together.
Right. I think that sorry about that. That was just an entertaining little awkward time. Okay.
Here's what I want to know, though. Okay, Rach.
Yeah.
So, this is a question I remember somebody asking.
Okay.
And you're building a house, and you just said, people don't plan houses for my life.
Yes, no, they do not.
And you have put in quite a lot of think time on what are you going to do differently in your house.
Yeah.
For the lifestyle that you have. And I remember somebody writing in and asking specifically about that. Like, what are we doing? We're remodeling your building, and it's...
Okay.
So tell people about your building project, Rach.
What a
things you're
fascinating.
doing.
Good.
The 5-foot sink is a
5-foot sink
good
is
springboard into this.
Yeah, okay, so it's the goal with the 5-foot sink is that when we're really, there are seasons of our life, not all seasons, but there are seasons of our life where we're having about 40 people to dinner 2 times a week or something. So, and we don't anticipate that going away as our children get older and more
plentiful when they start
and
having
more
their
when
own
they're having their own
children.
kids, when they're inviting, even just in high school, when they're having people, college, high school, whatever. We expect our home to be a place where we're feeding a lot of people a lot, and we hope it will be that. So the sink is about that more than it's because this is because of me. We're having 2 dishwashers because that just is a sensible thing to do, but I like all the dirty dishes to be on one side working towards the clean side. Mm-hmm. I like a workflow that goes in an orderly manner.
Yep.
So the thing that really bothered me about the idea of 2 dishwashers is I don't like it when there's a dishwasher on either side of the sink. I don't care which way the dirty to clean goes. Like, it could go left to right or right to left, but I don't like it just being a mosh pit.
Everywhere.
Yeah. And so I have not liked the idea of a dishwasher on either side of a sink because of that. Because I think, well, then you're like, it's all weird. So we solved this by putting in a 5-foot long sink, and there is a dishwasher on either side of it. But the theory is that it can fit 2 people doing the dishes at the same time from the sink to both dishwashers.
Your workflow begins in the middle and works outward.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then hopefully both of the above the dishwashers on either side will be a drain board.
Are you doing 2 faucets or just one big one?
Nope, 2 faucets, 2 drains, but it's only one sink, so it's one basin. There's no, so you could put a bunch of stuff all in the middle of the sink and have 2 people working it from there. And then we have the, I think that will work. I hope that will work. There's other stuff that I really wanted a wide staircase. That was a thing that when we were talking about doing custom house plans, which we decided not to do because it was not cheap to do custom house plans. But that was one of the goals, was to do a really wide staircase that enters into the main part of the house, like into the main living space, because I have a theory that children love to sit on, well, I don't have a theory, I know the truth.
It's just true in the world.
That children love to sit on the stairs. So if you're planning to have a lot of people over a lot of times and a lot of children, specifically grandchildren, I like the idea of the stairs being a place that is like kind of like bleacher seating for kids, or like the place people go sit and talk.
Your stairs are right between the dining room and the living room, so it's a very
so the layout
central.
The layout on the main floor is basically a 4 square. It's living room and a family room, a dining room and a kitchen. The main floor is just all public living space.
But you should talk about your hall, because this is an important part of your decisions also.
This is true when we were talking about doing custom plans. I know that not everybody has this problem, but this is a problem for us, is where to seat so many people all the time. And it's not a problem because we go, like with Sabbath dinner, we go pretty casual in the summer, and we just do folding chairs and folding tables out in the lawn, which is fine because you can fit very comfortably 40, 45 people out in the lawn. But when it would turn into the winter time, things become completely different. It's really hard to fit everybody. So when we'd have a formal time like Christmas, it's like every available inch of the space is a table and chair. You're just packing people in. So when we had we were looking for house plans where we could have a lot of people sit down to eat without it being without like we have to carry all the couches to the garage or something.
Yep.
Which is a thing.
We know about that.
Yeah, and so do we. I mean, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
It's a thing. And so anyways, we had originally, part of the problem is it's like, well, we don't want to put like a conference hall on our
Right.
house, or what if our life changes substantially for a long season and it isn't us having tons of people over all the time? You know, what are Luke and I gonna do in a house that has the banquet hall? Just like, I mean, do you want that? I don't want that. I know it would immediately go to seed. You know, it just
It'd be like having your own cafeteria, and
and nothing really makes sense with it. You know, it just was not feeling like this is not a home. This is something. You know, you're like, besides, and that's just ignoring the financial ramifications of throwing a banquet hall onto a house plan. And let me assure you, there are some financial ramifications. So we ended up doing things. So what ended up happening is we looked for house plans. I don't know if you all are familiar with this struggle, but when we were looking at houses, we kept finding houses that don't even have a dining room. Like that formal dining room has like been struck from the plans.
Yeah.
And so as unlikely as it is to find a big dining room, it's just finding a regular dining room. You know, like it's very hard to find these plans, and because it's a 4-square simple layout, the entryway, you come in a little entryway, and then it is 8 feet wide, and the hall is 8 feet wide the whole depth of the house. So it goes from end to end is an 8-foot wide hall. And then there's the living room, the family room, the dining room, the stairs, and the kitchen are all off of the hall. So it's not like a closed in hall. It's
it's open.
hall between spaces. But that's why we bought the plans, because we thought we could actually seat a ton of people in that hall, and it's not a place.
You could do one big table.
Huge long table down the hall, and it's not. You wouldn't have couches, and you wouldn't need to renovate the whole situation to fit them there. You could just put them there. So that,
I think that's super genius. And it's funny too, though, because finding the house plans that, like, old houses tend to be lots of little pods everywhere, little rooms that are pods, and then modern houses tend to be one big thing, and it's really hard to strike the balance, and I think a lot of it depends on what kind of entertaining you do. But our house, I have to say, if I had been building, I would not have thought of doing this, but for the kind of entertaining we do, our kitchen is separate with a swing door, and it's a big enough kitchen that I think once it's done, which it's not right now, you could have people in it because everybody wants to come to the kitchen. But it's also really nice when you have people sitting down out in the main part of the house having their whatever event. You can have people working in the kitchen who are able to actually talk to each other, because, you know, it's kind of a separate thing.
Ours is more open than yours is. And the kitchen especially is more open than yours is, but it somehow is not all the way open concept. But it is very open and flowy from one space to another. But it is not. It's not totally open.
Yeah.
We did add a back hall because I think originally. Actually, I'm not sure how that exactly panned out. We didn't want to have a door to the hall, to the bathroom, be what would essentially be right behind someone sitting at the table. If you, shimmy down there and get behind his chair. And so we switched it so there's a second hall up from the kitchen to the family room, just so that the bathroom is off of that, and it's a little more
private.
There's a little bit more, and that's where my smoking porch ended up being. The smoking porch is off the kitchen.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that we will find all kinds of obstacles because there's no such thing as a place that will not have obstacles.
No.
But we'll figure them out, but we're aiming to overcome the ones we knew about. But I do think that,
like, the way your house is laid out really does dictate what kind of things you can do, because, like, if you have one giant open plan, that can be super lovely with everybody able to just be kind of a part of the kitchen and everything. It does mean, though, that your mess is always very there.
Yeah,
So-
and I like the look of an island that is all flat, like a table space island, but I don't think we're going to do that just because of strategy, wanting part of the kitchen to not look like you want everyone in it.
Yeah.
And having a clear line, like, I don't want to have, if you're trying to, like, you know, put pastry in a bunch of pie dishes, having people, like, set their purse in the middle of it.
Yep.
Is, like, that's a different problem. So I'm kind of gonna, I think we're gonna end up trying to do a second level on the island, even though it's not aesthetically my favorite look.
But it's a boundary.
It is a really, it's kind of like, this is the part where you can put your elbows, and this other part is not for your elbows.
Well, I do think that I have found with various events is that people do not behave intuitively at parties or events. And
They don't, it's weird. It's actually like you can't enter into the mind of a hostess unless you are the hostess.
yeah, and so you don't, well, I've been feeling like, do we need to just have an app, you know, where somebody can just follow their app through the party? It will tell them where to go, what to do. It's ridiculous.
What makes me
It's
laugh
just funny
is that
because it's
people, however frantic the time is in the kitchen,
Yeah.
people always come in to share confidences with you at that time.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes really funny ones, because it's like you might be in the middle of a full court press on the pasta.
Yeah.
But someone will be like, I'm having this problem with my toe. And you're just like, what? Like, how is this a thing? But then it ends up being because they need help with something. Because they got there and they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't, you have a Band-Aid, or you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But it is a really funny, it always is funny. And you think, and then you feel it. It's like when people make some kind of comment about your children or something that is just totally
Innocuous.
it's just done. It's just been done all the time, and they don't mean, whatever. And you notice it, and then later you notice yourself doing it.
To other people?
Yeah, like where you're like, I'm doing that thing where you just make some vague remark to me. Or we went over to someone's house, and I feel so laid back that I went into their house, and I'm like, man, do you have any crushed ice? Have I just done that? I just did that.
Like, as far as, I just mean people coming in and putting their purse on where you're making your pie.
Yeah.
There are so many things that are very funny where it's like, I feel like, let's say I'm making this up, but let's say you have an event. Mm-hmm. And so, like, some of the ones I have to do at CJ's, there's this hideous, giant, ugly, old coat rack that is there for some reason. But it's like, okay, well, that's handy. People can put their coats on it when they come in. It doesn't matter if you have the world's biggest, ugliest coat rack sitting directly in the hall that they had to walk right past to get in.
Yeah.
They will come in, wander around, come into where you're wildly trying to deal with meringue, and then they'll be like, I don't know where to put my coat. And you want to be like,
it gets you. Do you understand what's going on with the stewardesses on the airplanes?
Look at me with the seatbelt, guys.
I said eye contact. The seatbelt clicks in like this, like so, like this. Watch.
And so, but it doesn't matter because, like, I feel like you can set up right by the door a big table that is covered with, here is a drink. You are welcome to pick up a drink right here, right by the door. And then people will walk right past it. And then enough people will walk right past it that other people think, well, I don't think we're supposed to touch that yet because nobody else is touching that.
Yeah.
Or you could have the dessert table over there. Clearly nobody should get into that yet. And
But they do. Somebody starts serving it up.
Like,
They're like, I best dive in.
They're like, I see the coffee's brewing already. And so they jump in on it. And it's a really funny thing.
I think the goal, this actually, taking it away from hospitality, I might have said this lately when we did that one to mothers of really little kids, but it was one of my hot tips when the twins were babies, is I got a baby gate and put it in our bedroom door.
Oh, yeah, you have talked about
And
this.
then, but
Smart.
the idea is that was the one room that I kept clean, that I would get up in the morning, make the bed, get everything all tidied up. But then I could just step over the gate and I would change the babies in there or nurse them in there sometimes. And then the other girls could come and talk to me, but they weren't like, it was a mental reminder to them that they were not invited there.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just part of being
traffic
gracious
flow.
is like, why don't we just try to not signal to everyone?
I have an example of this that maybe I've talked about this before. I don't think I have. So the way our house works, there's one bedroom on the main floor and it's right off the dining room, but it's before you go into the kitchen. Mm-hmm. So if somebody's looking for the bathroom, it's like there's a door right there. Maybe that's what that is. And so people would all the time open the door to go in to see if it's the bathroom. And first it was like an extra bedroom. Now it's our bedroom. And just because you've gotten the front of your house cleaned up for a party doesn't mean you want to invite everyone into your bedroom. Because
Are you sure?
You know how that can be. So, that was always awkward because you might not have wanted your bedroom to be on display and yet 4 different people blasted into it in the hopes of finding a bathroom. But, early on, while we lived there, I think it was before it was our bedroom, it was an extra room, and I was using it to stash Christmas gifts, and I didn't want the kids to go into it, so I printed out a little piece of paper that said no in huge letters, but they were red and sort of circusy, and I had an exclamation point with a little star on it and just said no, to remind the kids, don't go in there, there's Christmas gifts.
Right.
Suddenly, though, people did not just fling it open to find out if it was the bathroom. People kept being like, where is your bathroom? And you're like, see, I'd much prefer to do it this way. That's actually better. So you can always just put a great big no sign on your door. But the thing is like, I feel like people almost need that written instructions or physical barriers.
Yeah.
To like guide people in
No, it's actually
traffic.
just manners. It's just good manners. I'm not talking about
from
the
the
people
hostess,
from the
yes.
hostess. It's just good manners because nobody also wants to be the person who let themselves into your bedroom on accident. Like
No.
they aren't trying to do that.
But I just think like when at a party or an event, not like if you just have a couple over for dinner, but I mean if you're in a big group setting, people can't always find the hostess to say where's the bathroom. So they just start opening doors or they're engrossed in conversation with somebody and they're not thinking about the fact that maybe the dessert buffet shouldn't be open. They're just involved in talking about something. And so I just feel like once you have an event, you have to make things really, really obvious to people.
Yep.
Because otherwise they'll miss it. And it may seem obvious to you, but it won't be to the multitude.
Yeah. It's really true.
So anyway,
I think doing hospitality, the fun thing about hospitality is that it is good for people to receive hospitality, but it's so good for you to extend it. It's so good to be in the practice of really trying to do things for other people and not because you expect to get something back from them.
Yeah.
There's that idea that we want to show people hospitality so that we will get some kind of
accolades
or a tribute back from them. We'll get some kind of a
reputation.
You changed my life by that. You know, and there's that desire for it to be deeply, hugely meaningful when I think it's more just the ongoing work of being a Christian meaningful. It's just meaningful that you value this because God does.
And I feel like I've had to get far more numb to certain things where it's like, you know what? Everybody just saw that. And you know what? That's probably all right because they saw it and that's how it is.
They saw that?
Well, for instance.
What did they saw?
Well, I'm thinking of my house. They saw that. This very morning, the track team leaving for state. They are leaving at like 8:30 or something. So my daughter Belle invited the team to come over for breakfast. But she asked last night, like, would that be possible? And I was like, totally. But you're going to have to help chip in on getting it cleaned up and stuff. And then I proceeded to crash hard.
Yeah, actually, your husband
burn
sent me
hard.
a picture of you.
No, he didn't.
He did.
Do not post it.
I'll pull it up.
But don't you dare
no,
post
I'm not
it.
posting
I can't
it.
even imagine what it is.
It's actually really funny.
I
It's a good one.
hardcore crashed.
It's quite good.
Speaking of people coming into the bedroom, let me see this. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay.
His caption was, "She did it at the table too, so I sent her to bed. She mostly made it." Because this is a photo of Becca stiff-legged and just face down on her bed, sort of in the bathrobe. There's like a bathrobe on your bed and you're just sort of...
No, there I am, just splatted.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt quite so badly with the photo evidence of what happened.
Oh,
and I like that
man.
you clearly... Were you gardening yesterday?
Yes, I was
It's
gardening.
Like dirt on her rear end.
I'm like still in my jeans and hoodie and splatted out on my unmade bed with my legs hanging off. Oh my word. Anyway, so that happened last night. So what I'm telling you is that when
You were a big contributor to the
when-
track breakfast. Is
did
what you're
I
saying.
spot check my downstairs before the track team
Maybe
came
not.
for breakfast? I didn't spot check my own lifestyle there. And
Well, that's how it goes
anyway,
sometimes.
so then this morning they all came and I was like, oh look, there's a bunch of Amazon boxes piled up in the corner.
Well, that'll do.
Haven't gone out to
Nobody cares about
to the
Amazon
bin yet.
boxes.
some folding tables stacked over there from the last event.
Nobody
We
cares.
got a couple of renegade bits of mail piled up
I
on
think
that.
I think
You
that
know,
the funny
it's
thing
just
is
not. It
but
was not pristine.
that
But
part of you that wants to be like what I'm saying. Oh, nobody cares. The only person who cares is the hostess who wanted it to be about praising her achievements.
right.
If you really are just doing something nice for other people,
Yeah.
you're not
And that's the
actually
thing.
all swizzled up about that.
No, and it's like, you know what? It's completely fine if they come in and they see my house looking not as if it was being photographed in a second for a magazine.
I have to. Yeah.
I'm still in shock about that photo. That's very.
I think it's a perfect. It's a perfect one.
Oh my god!
With a nice Instagram filter, it'll be really flattering.
I had been digging a lot of big holes in my garden.
Oh, it's a good picture. I think I'm gonna spruce this thing up
Don't
to share.
you dare! It'll be like
think
the
we
worst.
should.
The worst in inviting to my life.
Are we needing to
Oh,
wrap
my
ourselves
word.
up here?
Well,
No, we kind of have to pretty soon though,
We have
because
to do
we
it quick.
have because I have to go pick my children's
Mm-hmm.
up. But do you want me to read you a breathtakingly evil thing that somebody sent
okay.
to me?
Breathtakingly evil is just what I was in the market for.
Yeah, I thought so. This one's really good though. Take this as a word of encouragement, girls. One day you're going to come across a man that will worship the ground you walk on.
Woo.
Do not stop until you find that man.
Eek.
He will love and cherish every inch of you, personality, body, mind, etc. And he will do everything in his power not to lose you. Don't settle for half-ass men. What? I
Wow.
mean, I felt like this one is really amazing. Because is that a man?
Let me see it. Let me see this because just
Basically,
we were doing this
he
the other day.
worships you because he has no sense of reality
No, but
or perspective.
Remember, okay, so many of these things, if you were to change it to reflect the men, listen to this.
Yep.
One day, men, you're gonna come across a woman who will worship the ground you walk on.
Yes!
Do not stop
Do
until
not
you find that woman.
Find her.
She will love and cherish every inch of you. Personality, body, mind, etc. etc.
It's so uncouth.
And she will do everything in her power not to lose you.
Yes, like she will.
Don't settle for
Don't
half-assed
settle. And the idea that the only full woman would be one who would worship you.
Oh,
and
golly.
and not believe you have any failings,
but
and,
like
and
all of
just
the
and will devote his life to
all
trying
of the
to be
self-care
your
stuff though, like some of the ones we've
it's
seen about.
one great big
But imagine if it was the
dumpster
men.
fire.
You deserve a night out with the boys. She needs to stay home and take care of the house and let you have some time out bowling with your with your buddies.
and demand what you want.
Yeah.
And don't give up. Just say, I'm going to have time alone and you're going to deal with it,
Husbands,
woman.
cut that toxic woman out of your life.
Yes,
if she doesn't give you everything you ever wanted.
Men, just drop that woman.
Men,
like,
fill up your own cup before you...
Okay, this is a good, I'm gonna be going on
word.
I'm gonna be going on a little tour talk on Instagram only. Just meant multiple posts coming up. I'm not actually going anywhere. About flattery, because one of the things that I have felt is so self-evident, and then I've realized it's not self-evident because it's actually tricking people. You know, it's actually doing this. Is that okay? If you are on Facebook and there is a meme that says,
You're
"Don't
perfect.
feel bad. You're doing the best you can. You are really important to your kids, and they're lucky to have a mom like you." And then there will be hundreds of comments of people saying, "Thank you, I really needed to hear that." And you say, "What?" Because there's no truth in it. And the reason there's no truth in it, even if it is accurate, even if it happens to be accurate about you at that moment, there's no truth in it because the person does not know you. There is no connected value standard. They're saying the same thing. Like if you're giving your 2-year-old cigarette burns, they're saying the same thing to you. Right? They're saying your children are lucky to have you, period. You're amazing. You're doing your best. And it's like, what if I'm not though? What if you're lying? And the thing that I was thinking about is that Christian women have developed such an aversion to actual biblical encouragement, like Christian encouragement, and what they have decided is encouragement is compliments, right? So a compliment can be a completely legitimate thing. It can be like your mom saying, "Honey, I'm really proud of you for this." That's encouragement and a compliment. And that's a really nice thing. But it is also something that in the absence of as many compliments as we wanted, genuine compliments, we have thought that like that is encouragement. Like encouragement is when someone comes and says, "You're so beautiful, I wish I could be like you." And so we forget the fact that encouragement is actual, like Christian discipleship is encouragement. And then because we're not getting enough compliments, we've settled for flattery. Flattery is just a lie. And it's also, the Bible is just full of warnings about flattery and what it is, and compares it even to a net to snare you in. Like, what is the goal of flattery? It's not encouragement. That's the thing. Is that the goal of flattery is control and hatred in a way.
If somebody's flattering you, they're trying to use you.
Yeah,
for some reason.
and the Psalms refer to it as lying lips. Like, keep me from that. Like, protect me, Lord, from lying lips. And the thing is that I think Christian women are not recognizing that there is an agenda behind the lies. They're thinking there's no agenda there. This is just someone trying to be nice to me. But it's not someone being nice to you. It is deceit coming into your life, you know, and it is, and it is,
it's the bait, and there's always a hook.
There's a trap.
They're trying to set the hook in you.
And the sad part is how well it has been working.
Yeah, really.
Because when you come in with really true biblical discipleship, which would be like, women, read your Bibles, like confess your sin, read your Bible, obey Jesus. And everyone has a heart attack and says that that's not encouraging. And you think, yes, it is.
But I haven't really fully developed this thought. It might be weird, but the thing is that, like, we can laugh about if there were memes to men that were saying, men, you are perfect just as you are.
Never apologize for all you do.
No, you're amazing. Your wife is lucky to have
When you mansplained that earlier,
it was amazing.
It was the best thing anyone ever did.
So the thing is we could laugh about what a dud that would be. Nobody would fall for it. But the thing is it's no different in terms of the content. It is absolutely the same in terms of content. But I think the problem is I don't think men
are as gullible.
Well, no, it's not that. They would fall for some things, but they wouldn't fall for that.
No,
and I think that shows you that it's actually because women are incredibly vulnerable to that particular line.
Yes.
Men aren't really vulnerable.
No, but like the question that you have to ask yourself is, why do car magazines feature a woman in a bikini lying on the hood of the car? Because that's as dumb, but it works on men. Yeah. Right? Like, it's like, if you owned this car, women like this would appear
on the hood
spontaneously in your life. And so it's as dumb, but it's just a completely different tactic for men. It's a different technique.
But also, that technique wouldn't work for products marketed to women. Like, it's just not, it's not the same level of, it just wouldn't work
like
out.
The Axe body wash commercials. Like, if you reversed the roles somehow.
It just,
somehow not the same.
Well, when women are shopping for, I don't know, like a new dust buster.
Well, they probably do make an effort at this, don't they?
They probably do, but it's not, it's gonna be ironic. Like,
yes. It's kind of,
it would be a joke. It wouldn't be for real.
Right, and the thing that's so funny is that we see how dumb it would be if you said, men, no matter what you did today, it was awesome.
Yeah. And
we would all be like, what do you mean? Men are making mistakes all the time. You're like, oh, you're saying so women don't? So this
or
is
you're
another
saying
one.
that perhaps your behavior might affect whether
this is another one someone sent me from Eat Clean with Charlene.
We're going to find out.
To every mom who yelled at her kids today, to every mom who has a sink full of dishes, to every mom who can't find time for anything, to every mom who didn't shower today, to every mom that fed her kids cereal for dinner, you are enough. That's it. That's the whole shebang.
But
just do it. To every man who yelled at his wife today, to every man who didn't take out the trash on time,
on the floor, for every man who left the seat up again,
for every man who spent all day playing video games, for every man who did that, you're enough. We all know how bad that is.
It is, but for some reason,
it's just visibly
I'm just
bad.
saying that you use different bait to catch different fish. And this is a bait that works for women, and we would all see that it would be a ridiculous bait to use on men because it wouldn't work. None of them are interested.
Who are you gonna catch with that? No. Yeah. Well,
only the weird little
something super weird is what you'd come. There would not be thousands of likes.
No, you wouldn't find all of the men in their offices at work be like, I needed that.
Shout out to me today. I didn't get a thing done, and I was just starting to feel bad about it, but this meme came along, buoyed me up in my hour of need. I was going to go home and yell at the wife, but then I was going to feel bad about it, so now I'm able to just freely indulge because I am enough. Well, the point about this in my mind is that the problem is that we've smushed together the whole category of what is encouragement.
Yeah.
Being encouragement would be a compliment.
Yeah.
And in the absence of compliments, we sub in flattery because if we're not getting as many compliments as we might need. And the thing is it's because I think we started equating compliments
Yeah.
with biblical encouragement.
Yeah.
And biblical encouragement is a life of discipleship,
No.
which means it's everything. It's rebuke and sustaining, like giving us new understanding. When you're reading your Bible, you're convicted of things, you're fed, you're encouraged, you're strengthened, you see more of Jesus, you see more of God's plan. It's a very different kind of equipping, but what it is not is a tender compliment.
No.
And because we think that that's it, like we've redefined encouragement as a compliment, makes us really vulnerable to flattery. Because
Completely.
if you're actually being encouraged like a Christian in the Word, flattery just has this bizarre tinny, like what? What are you talking about? Mm-hmm. So I just think at the beginning of when I first started the Department of Hell No, I think I thought going into that, I should go back and look what my first
It just
post.
kind of happened, right?
Yeah, totally. But I mean, I think the first time I ever specifically summoned out a self-care meme, it was something that I was being really conservative with it, in the sense that I was saying, like, just another thing you need to keep an eyeball on is that you're not buying into this. And I think my warning about it was pretty tame.
Maybe.
Like, because I did not actually know. I had assumed we had a much better immune system to this than apparently was the case.
No, and the thing is, Christian women are very vulnerable to flattery, as are Christian men. It's just we are flattered by different things. And so...
Well, flattering men is...
Faux respect.
It's faux yes, it's lying respect. It's lying, you're the strongest, you're the fastest, you're the smartest, you're the... most amazing at this. And with women, we're saying, you're enough. Just enough. One day your children will realize how lucky they are to have you. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I need to go pick up my children.
We got to collect the
and we're
children.
having another rainstorm at pickup time.
Luckily,
Nice.
just in time for the lacrosse game.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right,
everyone.
I'll bust out this image for everyone, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt Becca's wanting that.
I'm gonna delete it immediately.
It's actually a cute picture.
Oh
in
my
its
word!
way.
Let's not even.
Come on. I'm not posting it. I'm just saying it's pretty
Unless
good.
you want a sister's curse to come upon you.
Yeah.
Oh my word! It's so
I don't.
funny.
I'm not
All
asking
right.
for it. Goodbye until next time.
Bye.
You think of yourself now, and then in 4 years' time, what do you want yourself to look like? And is the education that you're considering going to help you get to that place?
When you're a student, you want to become like your teacher. You're going to become like your teacher. Looking at NSA beforehand, I knew I wanted to become like the men who are teaching here.
Fireman, husband, father, doctor, no matter where you want to go, NSA is just such good preparation for the person that you want to be.
If you want to be an effective Christian, you need to be able to lead and shape culture. If you want to do that, no matter what your occupation is, you need to shape yourself, prepare yourself as a person for that job. And liberal arts is, I think, the best education you can have for that.
To learn more, check us out online at nsa.edu.